Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senators, I'm Luis Figueroa, Chief of Legislative Affairs for Every Texan, and we are in opposition to the committee substitute for House Bill 4. We still believe this is a square peg in a round table. Enforcement still does not work, and we've tried many times of enforcement. We don't think it's going to be effective as a deterrent. But more specifically, the legal issues, we do believe the bill is still preempted because the arrest is still based on alienage. The affirmative defenses are still immigration determinations by the judge. Taking someone to a port of entry isn't the federal process. There's a detainer process, as Senator Hinojosa has pointed out. And we are now making this a deportable offense, which isn't consistent with federal law. Secondly, the due process violations. This is a post-conviction we're effectively making a post-conviction deportable offense without any due process in front of an immigration judge because we are ordering the person to be essentially removed by federal authorities upon completion of their conviction, which I believe has some due process issues. But I'd also like to point out a few of the House amendments that were taken out that I think should be back in consideration. The safe places as hospital, churches, and schools. I'm from El Paso. I urge you to look at the case of Morillo versus Mosegades, which was where enforcement was happening at Bowie High School, which is right on the border, as you know, Senator Blanco. And Border Patrol were often entering the school premises and enforcing immigration enforcement against U.S. citizens and students and making it very dangerous for the students on the campus. There is history of enforcement against U.S. citizens. There's enforcement in schools, and I believe this will encourage that. And lastly, I encourage you to take a look at Representative Moody's amendments related to making the affirmative defenses exceptions instead of affirmative defenses, which would address the issue on the front end instead of the back end and not making this whole trial process for someone who has lawful presence. So thank you for your time. I appreciate your efforts to make the bill better, but we still think we have a lot of work to do.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the